And we begin tonight with continuing coverage of the U.S. immigration overhaul under President Trump. Today we learned that 1,500 active duty soldiers will head to the southern border. And now we're learning that more about how potential mass deportations could play out. Good evening and thanks so much for joining us for 12 News at 10. I'm Kariba Devine.
I'm Mark Curtis. Tonight we're hearing from a retired ICE field agent who worked in Arizona on what a crackdown on illegal immigration actually looks like. 12 News journalist Bianca Bono is live in studio with us tonight. Bianca, what did he say?
I asked him about several of President Trump's new policies, from allowing ICE to make arrests at churches and schools to shutting down the app to seek asylum, and how, if at all, they could impact ICE's operations.
ICE gets painted with a broad brush and often vilified.
Pete Stewart, a retired ICE deportation officer, says there are misconceptions about his former colleagues and those who work in the immigration enforcement field.
ICE is a very diverse group of people, of professionals from various backgrounds. You know, ICE is targeting primarily criminal aliens.
Stewart says President Trump's prioritization of immigration and border enforcement has led to a boost in morale within the law enforcement agency.
They want to be there and they want to be part of the success, of making those communities safer.
Questions have been looming large about possible ICE raids. Stewart believes much of the messaging around raids has been fear-mongering.
I mean, in terms of the last 4 years, there was zero enforcement. So yeah, you're going to see more people on the streets because they're going to be out there, allowed to do their jobs.
The people really scared, worried, nervous.
Pastor Magdalena Schwartz says she's received questions from her church community in light of DHS announcing it will allow ICE agents to make arrests in schools and churches.
I told my people, don't worry about it. You have a criminal record. You never appear in court, or you under deportation. Yeah, you have to be worried.
Stewart agrees and believes ICE would continue to be respectful of those areas, prioritizing criminals and those with final orders of removal.
I don't think they're going to be running in there, and creating havoc. The percentage of people that would be in those areas is really negligible.
And according to ICE's annual report, taking a look at fiscal year 2024, there were about 146,000 arrests nationwide. That's through ICE's enforcement and removal operations. Mark?
And Bianca, just scrolling through social media over the last 48 hours or so, there has been so much speculation about raids, where they're allegedly happening. And there's just a ton of misinformation. What do we know about what's really happened so far here?
There's been so much misinformation on social media. You really can't log on to an app like X without seeing it. I can tell you we don't have specific confirmation of any of that activity here in the Valley. And up in Flagstaff, speculation even prompted Flagstaff PD to issue a statement to the community saying any reports about ICE conducting deportation operations there are false. Again, President Trump's border czar Tom Homan has stated during these enforcement operations, they will be prioritizing public safety threats. He does note, though, there could be collateral arrests. Guys?
All right, Bianca, thanks. We want to get to a story just coming into the newsroom. Tempe police have arrested a mother and grandmother in connection with the death of a 13-year-old girl. Virginia Lujan is facing child abuse charges, and police say charges are also pending against Jamie Hodges. Police say they went to Lujan's home yesterday after she reported that her 13-year-old granddaughter wasn't breathing. Officers say the child was covered in bruises. The teen later died at the hospital. Detectives say they searched the home and found a makeshift cage. Police say Lujan and Hodges admitted the girl was kept in the cage, they say, to keep her under control.
New at 10, a Phoenix woman is facing a murder charge after police say she ran over her elderly rideshare driver several times. It happened yesterday near 40th Street and Baseline. Police say that 74-year-old Samuel Webster was driving 31-year-old Jordan Spalding when the two of them got into an argument. Witnesses told police that the car stopped near a canal and both of the people got out. That's when Spalding got into the driver's seat and then ran Webster over. Webster was pronounced dead at the hospital. Today at the state capitol, lawmakers introduced new legislation in honor of Preston Lord. The 16-year-old was brutally beaten in Queen Creek in 2023. House Bill 2611 is being called Preston's Law. If passed, a physical assault done by two or more people would legally be defined as aggravated assault. It also proposes making changes to assault crimes involving law enforcement and public transit workers. You can read the full bill on 12news.com.
Well, it's chilly out there tonight, but I don't think it's headed, Chris, to the territory we saw last night and in the early morning hours.
Yeah, not quite. Certainly cold enough for freezing temperatures in some areas, little isolated pockets, but not like early this morning. Maricopa, 25 degrees. It was 29 in Sun Lakes, and Chandler hit freezing. And in my backyard, yes, it did freeze. The birds are going to have a tough time getting through that ice because it was really cold this morning. Right now, 49 degrees, so the chill is out there. Our relative humidity is pretty low, 18%. And our forecast lows for tonight into tomorrow morning, into the 30s and low 40s. Scottsdale 42, Goodyear at 40, Buckeye 36. Queen Creek will drop down barely just to freezing at 32 degrees and 35 in Chandler. But the next big weather story is the chance of rain in our forecast. Sunday through Tuesday showers. We're looking at preliminarily right now about 1/10 to 1/4 of an inch of rain in the valley. That's the potential, and our snow level between 4,500 to 5,000 feet. We'll time it out. We'll track it with the latest run of our Futurecast model coming up.
Chris, thanks. Tonight, Apache Junction police say more than a dozen online predators are behind bars after targeting children. Police made 14 arrests during the operation, which took place earlier this month. The name of the suspects have not been released so far, but police say they're connected to 39 sexually related felonies. According to investigators, none of the suspects were from Apache Junction and had traveled there to commit the crimes. Police also found guns and drugs during the operation.
New at 10, a disturbing discovery in the West Valley. Several dead horses and other animals appear to have been dumped right near a neighborhood. It's a problem that those living in the area say is only getting worse. 12 News journalist Chase Golightly met with one of those concerned neighbors this afternoon. And Chase, you actually went to the area and saw the situation for yourself.
That's right. Some of these horses were tied up and just left out in the desert, not too far from homes, leading to the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office getting involved. Now, I do want to warn you, the details of this story and these photos, while we did edit them, are still disturbing. Walking along the trails just south of Buckeye, a sight no one wants to come across.
It's disgusting, it's inhumane.
Dead, decomposing horses, goats, and other animals, with rope tied around their legs, left in the desert.
We see horses, we see cows, we see sheep, we see goats, they're tied up.
Tammy Johnson from Buckeye meeting us in the area near Ray Road and Tut Hill Drive. She says it's a problem that seems to be getting worse.
It's all across this valley on the west side. I've personally seen a dumping ground out in Buckeye where we live that's probably about 50 animals.
On the opposite side of the valley in Morristown, last March a photographer came across another dead horse that was also tied up to a tree. He believes the animal was tortured because he says its stomach and neck were cut open. Johnson worries that's what happened here.
What kind of sick people are doing this?
Reporting the discovery to the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office.
All appear to have been out there for a fair bit of time.
Detective Warren Voigt with the Property Crimes Unit says in his investigation, the animals near Buckeye and Morristown were not tortured.
What it appears is somebody's using that area to dump off animals may have died in the backyard.
Saying people will load up their dead animals into a truck or trailer, drive them out to the desert, then use rope to tie the animal's legs to a tree and drive off.
The animal slides out of the vehicle and then they just leave it there.
When asked why people are doing this at all, Voigt believes it's because they don't want to pay the couple $100 for a company to come in and remove the large animal. But this could land you in jail.
So by dumping a horse out in the desert, you're subject to being arrested under a felony.
An action Johnson says needs to happen.
We need laws that are going to enforce criminal action.
As for what happens with the bodies now, we're told they will likely stay there. MCSO says they only remove dead animals if there are obvious signs of abuse that would lead further into a criminal investigation. We're live in the newsroom. Chase Golightly, 12 News.